So what is this? It's a 2004 Mark 1 Skoda Octavia vRS. More specifically, my 2004 Skoda Octavia vRS, which is either going to make this review much easier because I've had best part of 2.5 years of driving it to form an opinion, or much harder because all the interesting and exciting things have lost their novelty and all the problems and issues have simply become foibles and personality traits. But let's find out, eh? But first, a quick history lesson. Launched in the UK in 1998, the Octavia was the first all-new model produced under VW ownership. Based on the Mark IV Golf, it shares the exact same wheelbase, but gains 450mm in body length. A few years down the line, Skoda decides to launch the vRS Performance brand. The Octavia is the first model to get this treatment. Differences over the standard car include changes to the suspension and brakes, the inclusion of the 4-cylinder 180 brake horsepower 1.8 litre turbo engine, as well as cosmetic changes, including 17-inch alloy wheels, bigger front bumpers and a rear spoiler. What's it like to live with day to day? Well, pretty good to be honest. It's comfy enough. It's not exactly a Mercedes S-Class, but it's not a caterer either. You can happily go for hours and hours on the motorway in this, or around town, and it won't destroy your back. Equally, yeah, it's not the most comfortable car in the world, and over the frankly appalling roads I drive on every day, it can get a bit tiresome. Of course, this being a 10-year-old car, there are, shall we say, issues making their way in. Most annoying of which, that rattle, which I've attributed to a ever so slightly loose handbrake button. It's not an issue, it's just bloody annoying! Other problems include central locking, which pretty much makes its own mind up each day which doors it wants to lock, and a rear wiper and washer which has entirely packed up. In this 5-door hatch, guys, it's also available as an estate. There's plenty of room in the back, even behind a 6-footer like me. The boot is frankly enormous for the size of the car, although don't expect Volvo estate levels of practicality, because the rear seats won't flop entirely flat, and there's two stiffening struts, whatever Skoda want to call them, in the boot, right where you want to put a telly or a table or anything really. 0 to 62 is taken care of in a claimed 7.6 seconds, which is, well, yeah, fairly believable. And I'll go on to 146 mph top speeds, which, yeah, I'm not going to test that here. It is quicker than the GTI though, if you're playing top trumps at home. I just wish it made a bit more noise. It doesn't really get singing until sort of 3,500 RPM. I know this is supposed to be sort of a comfortable, everyday hot hatch, but it's still a hot hatch, you know? Make some noise, shout a bit. It's fun once in a while. Sure, the quietness, relative quietness, has its upsides. You know, at 10 o'clock on a rainy Tuesday evening when you're tired and you hate the world and you just want to go home, yeah, it's great, it's fine. When you're on a beautiful afternoon like this on a quiet country beat road, and you want to some fun, what's it like in the corners though? Well, I think it's best to describe it as fun but safe. Only when you push it really hard and really get silly can you feel the back end start to just move around a bit more, you know. But understeer isn't too bad either. It's a fairly neutral balance. The understeer that is there is a front wheel drive car. There's going to be understeer. It's fairly predictable and progressive. You know when it's coming. Some of that understeer you can put down to the still slightly wintry conditions of the roads around here, and also partly due to the let's say budget tyres, which in my defence were on it when I bought it brand new, and because I'm tight I'm going to get every last mile out of them. You can certainly feel the VW influence in here as well. Most of the materials are fairly high quality. I do like the VRS badges in the seats and the floor mats and the gear stick. I like the sort of padded dashboard for no apparent reason. But it's just nice, you know. It's not something you come into contact with every day, and yet they've taken the time to make it a quality item. It's nice. There are a few questionable items in here though, namely the scratchy plastic on the lower half of the dash, nasty, and this sort of, I don't know if they were trying to go for carbon fibre effect or what, but this weird patterned area. No, just no, really. Fuel consumption, well, the turbo helps, but thrash it and you'll still see less than 20. Just putting around on the way to work or whatever, you can get 35. And on a particularly frugal motorway journey, I even saw 40. But don't expect much above low to mid 30s on a day-to-day basis, frankly. So what's the verdict then? Well, it's significantly better than the Mark IV Golf GTI, on which it is pretty much based, really. It's more powerful, yet more frugal. It's faster and more comfortable. Compared to other hot hatches though, it's not as sharp, not as fast, but I'd say it's a better all-round package. It's comfy every day, it's quiet when you want it to be, it's not as loud when you want it to be, but I can live with it. Overall, it's a damn fine car. I don't know, that about sums it up.